For those of you interested in dividend ETFs and getting the best dividends possible, I made this video where I'm going to share with you the top 5 dividend ETFs that you can buy and hold forever. So let's start with number 5. Number 5 is FDVV. This is the Fidelity High Dividend ETF. This ETF seeks to track the Fidelity High Dividend Index SM stocks of large and mid-capitalization dividend-paying companies that are expected to continue to pay and grow their dividends. The inception date of this ETF is September 12, 2016, currently trading at around $40.54 and has a 12-month yield of 2.95%. The expense ratio is 0.29%, which is a fee of $29 per $10,000 invested. FDVV is not as diverse as I would like it to be, with only 116 companies in that ETF, but you do get exposure to Apple, Microsoft, Chevron, Exxon, just to name a few companies that are invested in that ETF. Now, the performance since inception, which is September 2016, so we've only got about 6 years of data, is 12.18%. Now, assuming FDVV maintains a 12.18% average annual rate of return in 10 years with $10,000 invested, you will have $33,597.28, and that's pretty good. Number 4 on this list is VYM, Vanguard's High Dividend Yield ETF. This seeks to track the performance of the FTSE FTSE High Dividend Yield Index, which measures the investment return of common stocks of companies characterized by high dividend yields. The inception date for this ETF is a little bit older than FDVV, November 10, 2006. It's currently trading at around $112.14 and has a 12-month yield of 2.88%. The expense ratio of this ETF is 0.06%, and this is actually better than FDVV. You're going to be charged $6 per $10,000 invested. So this is a very low fee, high dividend yield ETF, which I really do like. VYM is pretty diverse with 443 stocks that ETF invests in, which is something that I really like. And some of the companies you're familiar with: Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, ExxonMobil, JP Morgan, Home Depot, just to name a few. The 10-year performance of this ETF is 11.73%. And if you invested $10,000 into this ETF 10 years ago, today you would have $32,133.18. So right off the bat, FDVV and VYM are two pretty good dividend-paying ETFs that will be able to also grow because of the diversification in those ETFs. Number 3 on this list is VIG, Vanguard's Dividend Appreciation ETF. This ETF seeks to track the performance of the S&P US Dividend Growers Index. This means you're going to have large cap equity emphasizing stocks with a record of growing their dividends year over year. The inception date for this ETF is also in 2006, April 21st. It's currently trading at $150.54 and has a 12-month yield of 1.75%. The expense ratio of this ETF is 0.06%, which is also just as good as the Vanguard VYM, which again means that you're going to be charged $6 per $10,000 invested. VIG not as diverse as VYM. However, there are 289 stocks that this ETF invests in, and some of those companies are Microsoft, United Health Group, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, Visa. Some of these names you recognize. This 10-year performance is 12.45%. So if you invested $10,000 10 years ago, you would have approximately $34,507.30. Number 2 on this list is SPYD, the Spider Portfolio S&P 500 High Dividend ETF. This ETF seeks to track an index of the 80 highest yielding stocks selected from the S&P 500. So it's not as diverse as I personally would like, but you're going to see why it's number 2. The inception date for this ETF is October 21, 2015, currently trading at around $43.25 and has a 12-month yield of 3.67%, which is the highest of the 5 that I'm presenting today. The expense ratio is one that I really like at 0.07%, which is a fee of $7 per $10,000 invested. And the performance since inception is 10.63%, which is going to be pretty low, but that's okay because you do get that higher dividend yield. And because this ETF didn't start until 2015, let's assume a 10.63% average annual rate of return. You invest $10,000, you will have $28,815.24. And number one on this list is SCHD, Schwab's US Dividend Equity ETF. Now, this ETF seeks to track the total return of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. The inception date for this ETF is October 20th, 2011, currently trading at around $76.56 and provides a 3% dividend yield. The expense ratio is as low as the two Vanguard ETFs I presented at 0.06%, which is a fee of $6 per $10,000 invested. The 10-year performance of this ETF is 13.88%, which is pretty good. And this ETF holds 104 stocks from Pfizer to Coca-Cola to Pepsi to Texas Instruments, Broadcom, and Home Depot, some names that you will recognize. And if you invested $10,000 into this ETF 10 years ago, you will have $39,750.37. It's really important, as I showed you in this video, to make sure that whatever dividend ETFs that you're going to be investing in, make sure they're diverse. When you're investing in ETFs that promise high dividends, make sure you're not getting high fees as well, because you want to have low fees. And I just presented you 5 ETFs that have low fees. Now, if you want to learn more about my personal favorite ETFs to buy and hold for the long term, make sure you check out this video on the screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.